Olson from North Dakota State is our marketing analyst this week. Key USDA crop reports coming out soon could provide a significant shakeup to commodities, especially corn. Possibly the most anticipated number is that of corn stocks. If it's low, the new estimates from Informa Economics could help. Its new projection shows U.S. farmers will plant 99 million acres of corn this year. Acres for wheat and soybeans were both lowered, but overall, Informa Economics sees a big total for those three crops. Their estimate is around 220 million acres. As analysts begin to look at the 2013 crop, we asked Frayne if that large of a number is even possible.
Well, you have to do a little bit of creative accounting to get there, and it is possible. We're looking at depending upon who you listen to, you're looking at about a 1 to 1.5 million acre increase in corn. There's some are saying 1.5 million acre increase in soybeans and a potentially 2 million acre increase in wheat. So we're looking on the margin compared to last year a little over 5 million acres, and kind of the issue is where do we come up with those? And if you look around a little bit saying, well, we can steal a little bit from cotton, and I think most people, given the current price relationships between cotton and the major competing crops, are thinking about probably a 2 to 2.5 million acre decrease in cotton acreage. And the one that people often forget about is the CRP, Conservation Reserve Program. And when you look at the acres that did not get re-enrolled, we're already looking at about 2.6 million acres of additional cropland that will now come into production in 2013. And a big portion of those acres, the farmers that did look at those acres were not intending to re-enroll them, and so they can easily be brought back into cropland.
And no doubt some tic-tac acres, maybe making some yards shorter and some fields wider. Could drought conditions change that at all? Anything that would change, if they plant a different crop or not a crop at all?
Well, one of the extra things we need to be watching about is of course, the winter wheat plantings, which we'll know a little bit more about that in January. We also have some concern about the possible winter wheat killing, or the winter kill in the winter wheat crop, and where would those acres go to if they did winter kill? What crop would be replanted into them? And would that put additional pressure on the wheat market to try and buy some additional spring wheat acres up here in the northern plains? And again, some of the acres that everybody's counting on for additional corn and soybeans are going to be in the Minnesota, South Dakota, North Dakota region. And so there will be an interesting mix as we get into spring's work.
We'll at least see some big numbers coming out from South America, or we expect to see some big numbers coming out from South America before this U.S. crop goes into the ground. Any changes there with soybeans maybe swaying to or from corn?
Yeah, and that is also one of the issues we need to be watching very closely. Currently, if you look at the forward pricing opportunities for 2013, both corn and soybeans, the assumption that's currently built into those numbers is that we're going to have a very large corn and soybean crop out of South America. In fact, if you look at the numbers, this would be a record large crop in both Brazil and Argentina. So the question becomes, what happens if they have an adequate yield or a more normal yield or acreage instead of the large acreage and production that we're expecting right now? And of course, if they have a shortfall in their production, that means that we have to buy some more acres up here in North America. And again, that would really change the dynamics, because the current price relationships and the current bidding for acres, if you will, that's going on right now is assuming a very large South American crop. So if that comes up a little short, that means we have to buy some more acres up here, and that does change the mix quite a bit.
We'll have some reports coming out soon. Next week, WASDE quarterly stocks, some yield expectations from the old crop. There's going to be a lot of chatter around this report. How volatile could that make markets?
Well, what I'm trying to tell farmers is that those set of reports, the combination of those reports, will really be the reset button when it comes to pricing and price expectations. And I do think there will be some unexpected numbers that come out in that. What's going to be the net result? Of course, we don't know right now. But we'll get some final production numbers when it comes to the corn and soybean crop. We'll have the official numbers for the winter wheat seedings report. And one of the most important in my mind is going to be that quarterly stocks report, because that'll be the first real read we have on how quickly we're using up the corn crop, and in particular how much of that, at least through an implied sense, how much of that corn is going into the feed sector.
What is your expectation on the winter wheat seeding?
I think the winter wheat seeding, the private estimates for winter wheat seeding, I think are reasonably close. The question, of course, the wheat market will be watching very, very closely is as we get more into the March, April time period and that winter wheat breaks dormancy, how many of those acres actually experience some winter kill problems? What are the yield expectations at that point? And again, the drought and the drought monitor issues are all going to be part of that concern.
I'm going to close with this, Frayne. Wheat, corn, soybeans, they each have their fuels. Wheat with the drought conditions, corn with the ending stocks, and soybeans with South American conditions. What's your advice for trying to keep an even stomach here or a settled stomach as you try to market each commodity?
Yeah, well, I jokingly say that farmers are going to have nerves of steel or will have to have nerves of steel as they move forward and trying to put some marketing plans together. But I guess the underlying question I'm trying to ask is, or have farmers answer, is what are the odds or probabilities that prices will go up versus the odds or probability prices will go down? And if you can help sort that through and make an informed decision about what's going on, it should help remove some of the emotion and hopefully make a better decision.
The reports for grain stocks, winter wheat seedings, and supply and demand estimates are all set for release on Friday morning.